Broadcasting from their world headquarters in Texas, it's the Arcade Repair Tips Live Show. The show that discusses arcade repair, restoration, news, and more. Now, here are your hosts, Tim and Jonathan.
Well, hello everybody, and welcome to episode 12 of the Arcade Repair Tips Live Show. Now, Tim, I used the word live show loosely. This is the not so live show.
Right.
Okay, so this is actually a recorded show because, Tim, my wife is preparing to have a child, and so I will be there when that happens instead of live with you guys. So I'm sorry. He's actually due on the 2nd of February. We may induce, he may come sooner or later, but in order to get a live show in, Tim, we had to make it not so live.
But anytime.
Anytime,
he could come before we get through with this.
Exactly, you can come right now. So in preparation for that, though, we're recording this so you guys at least have something to watch while we're not doing a live show. So welcome to the not so live show, Tim, episode 12. We will be answering questions. Of course, we won't have a live chat, so unfortunately we will not have that. But Tim, you can always leave questions in the comments section and we can get to them on the next maybe live show if we have it. Or you can send us questions at questions@arcaderepairtips.com. And Tim, some of the questions that we go over today, that's where they came from, of course, is from either questions@arcaderepairtips.com or from your YouTube comments. Tim, before we get started, this is Mr. Tim Peterson, guys, Mr. Arcade Repair Tips himself. How are you doing?
I'm good.
Now, last live show, we had a little bit of a mishap, and you had to take over for a while. Were you okay with that? Everything okay?
Yeah, I think it was just a little shock because we hadn't planned on it. But stuff happens. So.
Exactly. Yeah, my daughter unfortunately was not feeling good, and so we were having to give her medicine, do some other things, and so I appreciate Tim taking over by himself because, guys, it's a hard job.
It's your job.
You're
much better at it than I am.
There you go. Well, I mean, one of us has to be like the play-by-play guy, and one of us has to be the commentator, right? So I feel like I'm the play-by-play guy, and you're the commentator. If this is the team, so just like sports. And Tim, speaking of sports, the big game's coming up, and if you guys stay tuned during the after show, we may talk about that a little bit. Right? In fact, we've already been talking about it a little bit before we started the show, but. If you guys want to stay tuned for that, we'll talk a little bit more about that.
All right.
So, Tim, how are things going? How's Chucky? Everything doing well?
Good. It's most people.
Chuck E. Cheese.
Most people think the busiest time of year is in the summer, and we've talked about this before. It's not. It actually starts in what we call first quarter of January. So the weekends are really getting busy right now, or anytime it's cold and there's not much else you can do outside.
Right, because during the summertime you can go out, you can play baseball, football, there's a lot of sports going on, you got parks and things. But during the wintertime here in Texas, people don't like to be out in the cold.
No, not much. So more game plays equal more stuff breaking, and so busy time of year for me for sure.
Absolutely. Well, Tim, we know that Chucky always keeps you busy, but we always like to hear updates from there. Any games you've been working on recently that you want to tell the people about while we're here?
Oh gosh, it seems like I've had several games that just really. I know I had a lot of kiddie rides seem real. Most of them used to be so simple, and they have gotten more elaborate with a lot of lights, a lot of things. So working on a kiddie ride now, just getting down to a motor, or I changed a belt on one the other day. Boy, it was. I think it'd be easier to work on a car than that ride. But, stuff like that. Skee ball lanes always seem like they have some kind of issues.
And that's something, Tim, we talk about a lot with, like, Golden Tee. Games that get a lot of physical movement, like skee balls or Golden Tees or stuff like that. A lot of times they tend to come out of alignment power supply-wise. Wiring tends to come loose.
Anything you throw a ball at, too, just vibration, screws come out over time. You really have to keep an eye on those type of games.
Sounds good. Well, thanks for giving us the update, Tim. And guys, remember, unfortunately, we don't have the live chat, but you can send us questions. This is where I go into my live chats, right? You can leave questions in the live chat, but today we don't have a live chat. So if you guys do have any comments or questions about the show, you guys can leave them in the comment section right below. So, Tim, with that in mind, let's go ahead and move to our first question. And Tim, the first one comes from Renita. Renita, am I saying that right?
Sounds fine.
Question from Renita. She says, please help. My monitor just went out in my JAMA system, and I have sound, but no picture. I have a new computer monitor. Should I just replace the monitor, or is it a fuse or something else? So Tim, it sounds like Renita here has a very common symptom that we know is playing blind, where we've got sound to the game, but the monitor is not coming out. Now, she has a new computer monitor, okay? So she could replace the monitor that's in it with her new computer monitor, or could it just be a fuse or something else? What do you think?
Well, more than likely, you can check for the voltage power to see if you've got power going up to your monitor. If it's a newer style, that's real easy to do because it just has a power cord going up there. If you've got power going up to the monitor, it's probably not a fuse in the game or something, but if you don't, it could be.
Right.
Other than that, then you're talking about up inside the monitor, and the problem with working on a newer style monitor is just how tiny everything is. A lot of it's surface mounted. I mean, there possibly could be a fuse. It wouldn't be the worst thing in the world to look into. But more than likely, it's going to cost more to repair than you can just replace it.
Now, Tim, I think you're reading this question. I may have read it a little bit different than you. She says, I have a new computer monitor. I don't know, is that what's installed in the game?
That's what I took it as saying that it's already in there.
Right, is that, or she's saying I have this
she wants to
that
put
I can put
a computer
in.
Okay.
Right, exactly. So I'm trying to decide. I think the way you took it is interesting, because if it is, like Tim said, a newer style computer monitor, man, it's easy to replace, right? Just go buy one off the shelf, put it back in there. But if you're trying to replace an older monitor with a computer monitor, then it's a little bit different.
Then you're going to need some kind of converter or something. And I noticed that we posted one on the Facebook page. It was on sale. I don't know if it's still on sale, but still a good deal. And
$20 for the GBS A200. Now, Tim, there's about 1 million different flavors of that particular video converter, but you can get that one for $20, which, Tim, is a great price, especially if you have Amazon Prime, because you get Prime shipping on that as well. So you guys can check out the Facebook for that link. But Tim, speaking of that video converter, let's go ahead and talk about that for a second. Now, it sounds like the game is playing blind. We both agree on that. It is. In most cases, you just can't plug up another monitor to it. Okay,
Correct.
like if it's a computer, like let's say we take it the way I took it, and then she wants to put the
tube.
Exactly, she wants to put a tube, replace the tube CRT arcade monitor with a newer computer monitor. You can't just plug it up.
No.
Okay, some games you can if it has a VGA port out. Okay, but that's pretty rare. It had to be a newer style game in order to have that. Now 16:1 boards, Tim, are an example of that, right? 16:1 boards have VGA, but in most cases you're going to have to use, like you said, a video converter board in order to get that arcade 15 kilohertz signal over to VGA, which is what we want.
Correct.
And so that's what we have a picture here of the Gombus 8200, Tim, a very common video converter board that a lot of people use in games. Like Tim mentioned, is $20 on sale. I don't know if it is currently.
So you could go to our Facebook page and click on the link and see if that's still available.
Right, facebook.arcaderepairtips.com or twitter.arcaderepairtips.com, Tim. We have it there as well. So if you use the video converter board, you could put the newer style computer monitor in your game. Now, Tim, it doesn't matter which monitor she has. A good place to start is our post on troubleshooting games that are playing blind.
That's correct.
Okay, because it gives you a lot of great information. Of course, you can always ship the monitor off for repair, ship the monitor chassis off for repair, Tim. If you want to use a computer monitor, okay, you still will need a converter board like we talked about. Tim, anything else here? I mean, if she has an older style arcade monitor, it's more than likely the chassis, right?
More than likely.
And we talk about a lot about that in our video on troubleshooting games that are playing blind. If you have an old school arcade monitor, Renita, then check out that video because it's really going to help you. But if you have a newer computer monitor in there already, why not just replace it with another one, right?
Right.
I mean, you can get them off the shelf, go to your local electronics store. A lot of times they'll have them. Or, Tim, you can get one from HollandComputers.com. You know, we've talked about those as well. They have nice 19 inches. I think they run about $200, which isn't very much at all. And they're mountable. Like, they're ready to go mountable, which is really nice. But it really depends on what you have now. If you have a CRT monitor, Tim, we are always going to err on the side of fixing it, right?
Correct.
So you can either ship it off to somebody for repair or try to repair it yourself based on our videos. Of course, that's always an option for you. If you have a computer monitor, though, it may be better just to replace it with one that you buy either at your local electronics store or buy one from HollandComputers.com.
Probably so.
So, Tim, anything else that you want to say to Renita?
I think we've covered both things it could be.
That's right.
And if you have any more questions, so please let us know or write us back.
Sounds good. So, Renita hopefully answers your question, and good luck getting that JAMA arcade game, is all she said. She didn't say which game, but the JAMA arcade game that you have back up and running. And Tim, I mean, it could be something simple. We should mention this, like a connection issue. Make sure that all your connectors are together and stuff like that. I mean, that's the simple stuff out of the way, okay? Because, I mean, we do want to make sure, and like you mentioned, getting power to it, checking power, those things are important. But otherwise, it's going to be probably one of the things we talked about earlier. Okay, Tim, let's move on to John here. And John says, I recently bought this Hydro Thunder and I'm having some issues with the monitor. Could use some help with it. Anything would be awesome. Now, Tim, let's take a look at this picture real quick. It looks like there is literally nothing on the screen.
Yeah, it looks like that his computer did not boot up. It doesn't look almost like a monitor issue. It looks like he's having some kind of problem inside his PC.
Now, I think John left a message on our Facebook page and said that there is some sound.
Okay.
So he's getting sound. So that leads us to believe it's either a connection issue or maybe an issue with the monitor itself, right?
Yeah.
Because we feel like the board is probably working. But now it could also be a video issue with the board. Now, a lot of people who are familiar with Hydro Thunder know that this runs off of a computer, basically, Tim.
Right.
It's not actually a board like we think in the traditional sense. I mean, this thing has a video card, it has a disk drive. I mean, you had games like this. One game that you had, I remember Sumo, ran off of a Windows XP PC, right?
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, you have several games now, especially, that run straight off computers instead of
Yeah,
off
and
of
usually
boards.
you're getting sound but no video, you'll have a bad video card.
Right, exactly. And that could be the case here. So let's go ahead and talk about that. Are you okay, Tim?
Yeah, it's got a little, I don't know, scratchy throat.
Okay. Well, we'll move on here, but here we go. So, from your picture, it looks like your monitor is not getting a video signal from your game computer. Start by checking your power supply and make sure your computer is getting the correct voltage and that all of the wiring is connected properly. Now, Tim, I mentioned that he left a message on Facebook and said that he's getting sound.
Okay.
Which all of a sudden kind of eliminates the fact that the power supply may be bad. Now, there's always an outside chance. Still an outside chance the power supply could be bad or having some other issues or wiring issues. But if we're getting sound, then we're probably getting more of a playing blind type scenario. Now, if the computer boots up, you still have no display. It could either be a bad video card, like you mentioned, or a monitor issue. If it's the video card, the OEM video cards are tough to find. The original equipment manufacturer video cards are tough to find. But there is a security bypass that will let you use other video cards. And Tim, if you do a search for Hydro Thunder security bypass on Google, you'll find what you need.
Oh,
and
awesome.
that will allow you to use some different video cards instead of the one OEM card that people have been trying to use forever.
Right.
And, you know, they made it proprietary on purpose, Tim, of course,
Sure.
so they could sell you the part. But the problem now is that Midway is
They
no
don't
longer
care,
in
no?
business. Right, exactly. So, I mean, we pretty much all of Midway's properties and things have been taken over by Raw Thrills at this point, right?
Yes.
Which I don't think is supporting a lot of that. H2 Overdrive would be like the new version of Hydro Thunder. That's a Raw Thrills game,
Yes.
right? So, I mean, some of those games have been taken over by that. So, you know, it's one of those things where now you can't get the part. And so what people have done is they've made these workarounds, basically a security bypass that will allow you to work around it, which is really nice. And
Yeah,
so,
about the only chance you're going to have is like eBay or something.
right, but now with security bypass, you can use several different cards instead of just that one
That's
OEM
awesome.
card, right, which really helps you. So again, Hydro Thunder security bypass if you think it's your video card. But again, we want to make sure, Tim, that our computer's getting power. We want to make sure that we got all the wiring correct, especially to the monitor. We want to make sure that the monitor is working, Tim. And if it's hooked up with VGA, why not try to hook like a computer up to it to see if it comes up on the screen,
Exactly.
right? And so you could take an old computer that you have, hook it up to the screen, see if it comes up, because I do believe that Hydro Thunder's hooked up that way as well. So there's a lot of different opportunities here for you to troubleshoot this game, but more than likely, Tim, very common to have the video card go bad on this. And
Very
again,
common.
one more time, Hydro Thunder security bypass. Do a search for that, and you will find some things that you can use, Tim, to actually make it bypass that, which are really nice. So, John, hopefully that answers your question. Good luck getting that Hydro Thunder back up and running 100%. Okay, Tim, the next question we have is from Greg. And so let's go ahead and read Greg's question real quick here. It looks like it's got to do with a Dig Dug machine. And Greg says, "Hello, I have just about finished restoring a Dig Dug arcade, and I had a question about the monitor. It has the original RCA monitor in it, and the previous owner said he did a cap kit on it. The picture looks great. The only issue is the top and bottom are cut off like a little, like the image on the screen is stretched vertically too much. Do you know how to adjust this? Would it be the width coil adjustment or something else? See attached pictures. Thanks for your help and time, Greg." Now, Tim, we see the monitor here, and it really looks beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay, like the picture itself, but you will notice that at the very top, that high score is kind of cut in half. Where it says
Right.
at the top, and at the bottom, you know, we have just a little bit, that round 2. If you notice right there, you'll see it kind of cut off, and the little Dig Dug guy is a little cut off on the corners. So, Tim, what's going on here with Greg's Dig Dug monitor? What does he need to do in order to get that picture just cinched just a little bit more so it fits the screen properly?
Well, it really does depend on what kind of monitor it is. And he makes a common newbie mistake in calling it an RCA monitor.
Right, exactly.
The RCA makes the 2, but
Right.
the monitor chassis could be a 4600 or a K7000.
G07.
A G07.
Right.
So each one of them kind of have their own ways. Some
Right.
of them it's a pod adjustment.
Right, exactly.
Some it is a literal jumper that you have to move over.
Right.
Others, like he's saying, you might have to adjust the width coil.
Right.
And even though we're talking about vertically, the problem is actually a horizontal problem.
Exactly.
And so if he can find a horizontal adjustment to try it, the width coil is not a bad place to start. And to be honest with you, I'm not 100% convinced. Sometimes you just have the bezel out of place.
That's true, too.
I have seen games where people are trying to adjust them, and literally the bezel is just slidden down.
Right.
So sometimes you can actually move it or put it up a little higher, and that will help. But those are a couple things that he could try.
Yeah, and I think all those things are good suggestions here, Tim. And bezel, people moving the bezel is a big deal because that will come out of adjustment a lot of times, and people think they have a monitor issue,
right,
and they usually have a bezel issue. So, yeah, absolutely.
It's easy for it to slide around some.
Right. So let's go ahead and show this real quick. So we have here, from your picture, it looks like your horizontal width is just a bit too wide, like Tim mentioned. Some monitors have a horizontal width adjustment on the chassis or on the breakout board. Try turning the other horizontal adjustments as well to see if they solve this issue, Tim, like hold. Horizontal hold a lot of times will help you with this. Horizontal shift, just depending on the monitor chassis, like you mentioned, Tim. There's different knobs for different things. So you may try just adjusting one of the other horizontal adjustments to see if it helps. Okay,
right.
So you have a lot of options there. Look at your monitor, find the adjustments. Tim, we have a great video on adjusting an arcade monitor that he definitely needs to check out. Has some great stuff in it. So Greg, try the adjusting an arcade monitor video first, I would say, before you go the width coil.
Right. Okay? And if you have, you need to figure out what monitor chassis you have. If you don't know, send us a picture and we can help you determine which one you have.
Exactly.
And that will also help us a little bit more to narrow down on how to adjust it. But by all means, look for, sometimes there's little trim pots on the chassis itself.
Right.
Some are easy to change. Some of them you need an adjustment tool to change. Some are on the neck board. So it could be just some simple adjustments that you need to do that will help you with that.
Now, if the adjustments don't work, Tim, that's the second part that we'll show here. If the issue continues after modifying the standard adjustments on your arcade monitor chassis, then you may need to adjust the horizontal width coil. Okay,
right.
And please see our post on adjusting the horizontal width coil for more information. Now, Tim, you did mention this, that you really want to use an adjustment tool.
Correct.
Okay, which can be found if you go to that post on adjusting the horizontal width coil. We have a link to the adjustment tools, and the nice thing about these adjustment tools, Tim, is that they're non-conductive, right? And
right.
that's what you want. That's what you're looking for in an adjustment tool. Anything that's conductive, Tim, can get hot, or if you misplace it in the wrong place, of course, it could cause a short.
Right.
We could have other issues, and so you really want non-conductive alignment tools. That's what you want to use if you're modifying. Maybe adjustments that don't have an actual knob. If they don't have a knob, then you want to use the adjustment tool instead. Or if you're going to adjust the horizontal width coil. If you do it with an Allen wrench, it gets super duper hot.
Right.
Okay,
Not
you really don't
recommended.
want to do that. And you can actually damage it, okay?
You can.
So let's not do horizontal width coils with Allen wrenches, right? But let's use the non-conductive alignment tools, and you can find those in the post on adjusting the horizontal width coil. Tim, is there anything else here? Any other advice you want to give Greg before we move on?
No, it's just he needs to determine what kind of chassis he has, and that will help us help
Right.
him a little bit more. So get back with us, Greg, and let us know.
And like Tim mentioned before, we'll say it again, some of the most common chassis during this time are the Electro Home G07, Wells Gardner K4900, K4600, K7000 series are really common. There's some other ones out there as well, but those four are probably the most common that we
Probably
see
so.
in games from the 80s. Now, if somebody replaced your monitor, you could have something totally different, right? If somebody took a monitor and tube combination out, put one in. But Tim, the fact that he has an RCA tube is a good. There's a good possibility you have something in there that's probably pretty common. So let us know what chassis you have, Greg, and we'll help you out a little bit more with exactly what adjustments you need to be looking for. So anything else, Tim?
I think that's all for Greg.
Okay, sounds good. So Greg, hopefully answers your question, and good luck getting that picture just a bit adjusted to where you don't have the overstretching on the top and the bottom. And Tim, other than that though, I thought the picture looked gorgeous.
Yeah.
And so there's no reason to get rid of that monitor just because you're having a little bit of overstretching.
Right.
Should be able to get rid of that, no problem. So. Well, Tim, I feel like we're cranking through this thing really quickly. I guess because we don't have the live show audience. We miss you guys, is what we're saying. We miss you. Right. We're sorry we couldn't do this live. But, hey, you get a not-so-live show instead, so that should be a good thing. Because, Tim, I think we only have, like, 2 more questions here.
That's all right.
I mean, but we'll continue on here. So let's go to the next question, which is from JS. Tim, only the initials we got in this question. He says, "Hi, hope you can help. The volume on my world-class bowling game has suddenly started blasting. In the settings, it's still in the lowest sound setting, but the volume is still blasting. If I turn the game off and on, sometimes the volume will be normal, but then jumps up again. I do my own board repairs, but most of the components are surface mounted, which I can't do. The schematics are very limited too for this 30-year-old game. On the audio side of the board, there are 2 capacitors. Could they be causing this issue? What are your thoughts on installing a pinball volume control pot to control the volume if the board cannot be repaired? Could this cause more damage? Thanks. Okay, Tim, so we have a question here from JS, and he basically has a world-class bowling game, which is a really fun game if you guys have never played it. It's kind of like Golden Tee for bowling.
We like it.
Yeah, I like world-class bowling. We used to play it all the time. So world-class bowling is a very fun game, but Tim, the problem is with his volume. It seems like it jumps all over the place. Sometimes it'll be normal when he first boots it up, and then all of a sudden it'll just skyrocket. We'll get like the maximum setting for volume. And so, Tim, what he's wondering is that, okay, there's some caps on the board. Should I try to replace those caps? That's probably the first question he has. So
in fact, I like this question because I've run across this a lot. And in fact, working on original skee ball lanes, or I would say lanes made by the skee ball company, they would do that. They would get really loud and annoying, and so a lot of times it was a capacitor that's in that area of the sound board of part of the game, and very often it was a cap. So I would definitely start there, and it's two capacitors. It'd be real easy to replace. Also, you can inspect them, physical inspection on them maybe lead to which one it is, but just two capacitors, I would start there first.
Right, and it should be noted, Tim, a lot of times when we see capacitors on a board, it is related to the sound amplifier. And and it sounds like this is a sound amp issue. It's not an issue with the sound itself. The sound chip and everything seems to be working because he has sound.
Right.
It's just an issue
really
with the
loud.
volume. Right, exactly. So we're probably having an issue with the sound amplification module on the board.
Right,
okay?
unless there's a lot of boards they have, I don't remember on that one in particular, there will be a pot on the board. Sometimes you overlook it and forget about it. It could be a bad pot, but more than likely it's those capacitors like he said. And the second part, he asked about installing a...
He actually says a pinball volume control pot.
Well, that's fine. It's not really... It's a volume control pot.
It's a volume control pot. Right, exactly.
And not necessarily... it could work, yes. It would help, at least in the meantime, until you could get...
Would this cause more damage?
It shouldn't.
No, because you're not sending anything to the board. You're cutting the feed basically to the speaker.
Right.
Is what you're
hook it up correctly, you shouldn't have any problems.
Exactly. So let's just summarize all that, Tim, in this nice little slide I have here. And I even put a world-class bowling flyer on there for you.
That.
We love that game, like we said. Yes, bad capacitors in the audio section of the board could cause this issue. Definitely recommend checking them. And we said with an ESR meter, Tim, of course, if there's just two, you could just replace them, right? You don't have to check them. But, it's good to check them just to see. To make sure they are functioning properly. Check the other parts in this area as well to make sure they are working as well, Tim. And, anywhere that if you've got the capacitors there, the parts around that are going to be very important, too, as far as audio amplification is concerned. So make sure that you're checking the parts around the capacitors as well. Make sure all of them are functioning properly. Could have bad transistors, bad resistors, something else could be causing the issue.
That's true.
Okay. Yes, feel free to install a volume pot if you can get the board to output the correct volume. If you can't get the board to output the correct volume, we do this all the time, Tim. I mean, we really do.
Especially with those slot machines and stuff like that don't have them. They're really loud.
And if you guys have seen our video on assembling a cocktail cabinet, Tim, what are we putting in that?
We put a pot.
A volume pot, exactly. It makes it a lot easier. Even though the 16-1 has an adjustment on the board, still put a volume pot in there. It makes it way easier than having to go through the entire test service menu to find it. So, especially on the 16-1 board, Tim, it's like at the very end. Remember that? So, yes, absolutely. Put a volume pot on there. No problem. Shouldn't cause any other issues with the board. Shouldn't cause additional damage. Anything like that, Tim. It should be fine, right? As long as it's hooked up properly.
Right.
We should say that. As long as it's hooked up properly. So, and Tim, if you buy the volume pot from Holland Computers, and I may put a link to it in the show notes.
That's a little instruction.
It actually has the little wiring diagram on their website. That shows exactly how to hook it up. So, I mean, it's very easy. You hook up the incoming wires to, like, the outside and center, and then you hook out the outgoing ones to the outside and the other center. You know? I mean, that's basically what it is. Very simple. So, but it has the diagram there. I believe that's it. You guys check the diagram to double-check me and everything. But, I mean, it's a very simple installation, no problem, and it shouldn't cause any issues with your board. So, Tim, if I were JS, that's where I'd start. I'd go ahead and install the pot and then figure out the problems later, replace the two things. Because even if you get the sound working properly, still good to have a pot in there.
Yep.
So, I mean, go ahead and start with the pot. Get the volume where you want it. Then mess with the board. See if you can get it working. I think that's good advice. Tim, anything else for
No,
JS?
I think we've covered that one pretty good. But good luck with that, JS. Let us know how it works out.
Absolutely. So, and yeah, give us any information. If there's anything else that, if you end up solving it or anything, please let us know as well so we can tell everybody else that you did. So, okay, Tim. Well, I think our last question here is from Ryan, and let's go ahead and put it up on the screen here. He says, "Hello, I have a Jurassic Park 3 arcade game. Everything works but the guns. We have tried everything." Okay. Can I say that again? We have tried everything. Okay, everything. I'm trying to do it in like a really epic voice. Everything! Maybe that's a good way to say it. We have many other games we have fixed, but this one is the hardest so far. The guns act like they are being shot, the screen flashes, but no shot is fired. We've put different guns on it, we've cleaned everything, and we've turned the lights off. We just don't know what else to try, Tim. We just don't know what else to try. We're desperate here. We did install the monitor in it, and before we put it in all the way, before we install it all the way, we tested it. The guns worked until we mounted it in the cabinet. Okay, so we basically had the monitor like out on my workbench, hooked up to the game. We did the guns, no problem. Put it in the cabinet, no more. Okay, let me know if you guys can help. Thanks. Now, Tim, like you said, I think that's very interesting. The fact that it was working until they put it in the game.
Right.
And like everything was working. Guns working, we're shooting stuff, and all of a sudden we put it in the game, it's like everything's not working anymore. So what could be going wrong with this Jurassic Park 3? Why is Ryan having so much trouble with it?
I had a similar problem on a game not too long ago, and the problem is that even though you've got it working out on there, once it's in the machine, you have to recalibrate the guns a lot of times.
Now, why is that, Tim?
And because it's the way that it aims in X and Y axis and so forth and knows where it is, it's going to change once it's in the game. So I understand their frustration. Also, it could be that once it's embedded into the game, it's a little darker. You might need to turn up the brightness a little. But I believe the calibration will help solve this issue. You've got to go back and recalibrate it after you fix it. I changed a volume pot, even though this was not a light gun game, it was a volume pot. Even after I changed it, I'm like, well, it's still not giving me the range. I remembered, oh yeah, I got to go back and recalibrate the new pot. Once I did that, everything was fine.
There you go. So recalibration, Tim, is one of those things that you really need to do any time that you replace a gun or replace a monitor.
Yeah, or the first issue of monitor type problems not showing on the monitor, go into your calibration, make sure that's set right.
Sounds good. So yeah, Tim, I'm with you though. This is a very strange issue, and I think I even put that here in the outline, which I'll show. Very strange issue. One thing we noticed is that you didn't mention recalibrating your guns. It's always a good idea to recalibrate the guns anytime you install a new monitor or new guns. The calibration process basically teaches the guns how to pick up the location from the monitor, which sounds related to your problem, right? It sounds like the problem we're having here is that the guns can't find the location on the screen. And so recalibrating, Tim, helps solve that, right?
It will help a lot. So.
Now, it sounds like, Tim, you already did this, but we're going to recommend it again. Check out our post on troubleshooting light gun issues, Tim. That's very important. We have a lot of tips on this particular issue in that video. One tip, you may need to turn your monitor brightness up. And, Tim, you mentioned that, okay? Because sometimes, like, let's say you have a smoke plexi bezel. Okay, well, all of a sudden, when you had the monitor out of the game, it was nice and bright, but that smoke plexi all of a sudden is a lot darker. Guns aren't picking up properly, right?
It could be the case. And you also mentioned here that to check the power supply, which I forgot to mention, but that is true.
Well, the thing about it is, though, Tim,
tweak it a little bit.
Right, but the thing about it is it was working when it was outside the cabinet. So you think the power supply is probably okay, but maybe not. Maybe not. Why not? Tim, there's no harm in turning it up to like 5.1.
Right.
Especially in a light gun game, okay? And driving games and things. Any game, Tim, that pulls a lot of power from the power supply, anything that has a high demand CPU.
Any game with a sensor can give a problem, like a basketball game where the sensor is in the hoop.
Right.
Those have to be up a little bit in order for that sensor to work, because it's a long ways from that power supply up in the front all the way back to the sensor. And
so on any high CPU game or sensor type game, Tim, so anything that's like a light gun game, a driving game, you know, Naomi systems, you know, newer midway games, a lot of those we're going to recommend a 5.1. Okay, just a tenth of a volt more. A tenth of a volt more.
Not much higher, but around a little higher. So
just a little bit more, just to give it a little bit more juice to get the CPU going, to get through all the wiring, whatever the case may be. And so in this particular case, you may try cranking it up just that much to see if it helps the issue. Tim, anything else that you want to say to Ryan before we move on?
No, I think, Ryan, if you'll try those things, those may help you quite a bit. But I think calibration really is where I'm leaning with this one.
Okay, sounds good. So, Ryan, try the calibration. Let us know what you find out. Try turning up the brightness on the monitor. See if it gives you anything better. And then maybe just a little bit on the power supply voltage. Crank on it just a hair just to see if that helps the issue as well. So, hopefully, that'll solve your problem. If you have any other questions or anything, please let us know. Well, Tim, just like that, we're through. We're through with all the questions. And like I said, without you guys in the live audience, we kind of rifled through that real quick. But we at least gave them some questions, right, Tim? I mean, this is the Arcade Repair Tips live show. We got to take some of your questions, I feel like. So, but again, if you guys, we don't have the live chat, but you can still leave us any messages you want, comment section right below, and we'll get to them on the next live show, hopefully, Tim. Or if we record one, we'll get to them in the next recorded one. So, now, Tim, I really didn't have like any tech tips or discussion, but there's one thing that kind of bugged me recently, and I don't know if you saw this. Tim, we are YouTube creators.
Yes.
And YouTube partners as well, okay? We are part of the YouTube Partner Program.
We've had YouTube videos for, 10 years now?
Almost 10 years. 9 years. I think. 9 of the 10 years that we've been in existence, we've had YouTube videos. And so our videos have been around a long time. We've been part of the Partner Program, Tim, for a very long time. But, Tim, they recently changed what you needed as far as followers, subscribers, and things like that in order to monetize your channel. And Tim, I really feel that this is unfair to a lot of smaller creators.
Right.
And Tim, a lot of this people are attributing to the Logan Paul thing, and I'm not going to talk much about that. But they're kind of attributing it to that. Okay, and you guys know what I'm talking about. Do I have to say anything else about it? I don't really want to.
I don't think so.
Yeah, but I mean, YouTube is kind of attributing a lot of things to that, okay? But Tim, the problem is that he was a big creator, and they're really punishing the small creators.
Yeah, I don't understand that.
Exactly, we don't either. So, Tim, let's talk about that for a second. Now, this article that I got here is from Polygon, and the title is YouTube's lesser-known creators worry for the future after major monetization changes. And, Tim, I have a link here, and we'll put it in the little the show notes for this one. But basically, Tim, YouTube is changing the rules. It used to be, Tim, that if you had, I think it was 10,000 views total on all your videos that you could monetize, okay? Which was a lot, but at the same time, it kind of opened it up to a lot of people. Okay, now the new rules state that creators must now accrue 4,000 hours of watch time over the course of 12 months and reach 1,000 subscribers to join the YouTube Partner Program and qualify for monetization. And Tim, if you're currently part of the Partner Program and you don't qualify for these, you get kicked out. Okay, which I don't think is fair either. I think they should at least grandfather people.
I believe that.
Okay, so there are countless testimonies from small creators ranging from beauty vloggers to animators to Let's Play channels. YouTube's new policies have led to many small creators choosing to move their content over to other platforms. Now, Tim, we have not made that leap so far. Okay, we are going to stay on YouTube because we actually like the platform, and we are a partner. Now, if we ever get kicked out of the Partner Program, we may move too.
Maybe so.
Okay, because there's other options out there for us. But Tim, we are still part of the Partner Program. But the big thing we want to do, Tim, and we actually reached out on our Facebook page and asked people if you have arcade-related videos, okay, especially repair, Tim. But if you have arcade-related videos, we want to show your videos so we can help you gain an audience.
Right.
Okay, so because there's a lot of you guys that are out on the edge, okay? Like you're just on the edge of being able to be monetized, right?
True.
We want to help push you over, okay? And so what we're going to do during this time is, Tim, we're going to feature 3 videos today from 3 content creators on YouTube that are either part of it now and are on the edge or are not a part of monetization now, okay? And so they all send in their videos on our Facebook and Twitter. They send them into our website, which we'll give you here in a second. And if you have an arcade-related YouTube channel, Tim, it doesn't have to be repair. Okay, if you have an arcade-related YouTube video, and you want to bring some more people to your channel, Tim, we're going to start featuring maybe 1 or 2 videos per live show so we can get other people interested in your content.
Awesome.
Okay, don't you think that's awesome?
Yeah.
I think it's awesome. And if you guys are interested in giving your content to us, then let me know, and we'll show you how to do that at the end, after we see all these great videos, okay?
Okay.
And so me and Tim are actually going to sit here and watch them with you, okay? And we're going to show all the stuff. But the 3 videos we have today, I think, Tim, all of these are focused on repair. Okay, which is kind of our bread and butter, right? That's what we talk about. So these are all coin-op related repair type videos, okay? So let's go ahead and show you those. So the first one here, Tim, that we have, and I'm going to put up the slide here. Testing a Wells Gardner K74/K7500 power supply with a light bulb fixture. Okay, and this was submitted by Paul. And Tim, so what we did is we went ahead and we categorized it like if it was one of our videos. So if it was one of our videos, the section would be monitors and screens, and the skill level would be expert, okay? This is definitely not something you want to play around with, which is why we put out expert. And the YouTube channel is Paul Juray, okay? And his YouTube link is there. Now, Tim, he doesn't have a short link, so it's kind of a long one. We will put these links in the show notes, okay, for the video, so you guys can actually subscribe to Paul's YouTube page. But Tim, I found this video very fascinating. Have you seen it?
Yes.
Okay, we're going to sit here and watch it again with you. We've already seen it, but we really do think it's got some great information in it, and it's very informative, especially for you guys who are working on K74, K7500 chassis. Tim, this is a great way to test the power supply section. So, Tim, I should just stop talking and play the video, right?
Yes,
okay, here we go.
Hey, this is Paul. I'm just going to do a quick video on how I test power supply section on 74, 7500 Wells monitor chassis. What you got here is L100 right there. And I pull one leg up and leave the other leg soldered in, which is connected to the power supply, and the rest of the coil there feeds the rest of the monitor. So with that pulled up, it's isolating the power supply section from the rest of the chassis. Next, I have to set up a light bulb. So basically, I got a light bulb here, just a light bulb in a socket, and on the other side I have this plug here. I'll plug in through pin 4 on the video connector, which is ground, and then I also hooked up an alligator clip, which I'll hook right up to L100 there. And if the power supply is good, the bulb will illuminate. So I will demonstrate. Got your ground plug. 1, 2, 3, 4. Pin 4 is ground. Then you got your other side. Alligator clip it right to that side of L100. Got it plugged in. I got the light bulb right here. I'll give her power. And voila! This is a good working power supply. I'll post this on the Village and Co-list of video games if anybody is curious. Have questions or comments, post them on the forums.
Okay, we're back.
All right.
That was it. What'd you think?
Interesting video.
I tell you, I tell you what, if I ever need to test a power supply on a K7400, K7500 Wells Gardner, that's a great way to do it.
Yeah.
So
it really is, and I like stuff like that where it's visual. You know, it's real simple. It's working because light bulb came on.
Right. And so I thought Paul did a good job with this video.
Yeah,
and I mean, he's
you,
got
Paul.
a lot of great videos on his YouTube page. And Tim, I'm going to throw it back up here on the outline so you guys can see it. And again, that's Paul. And his YouTube link is right there, and Tim will put it down in the show notes for this so you guys can subscribe to his YouTube channel as well. And Tim, Paul has a lot of great videos with monitor repair in there, so if you're the kind of guy who wants to get into monitor repair...
We get a lot of monitor repair questions.
Absolutely. It's probably the #1 topic that we have by far.
Sure.
So, I mean, monitor repair is something that a lot of people like you guys are interested in. So if you are, check out Paul's channel. It's got some great information on it. And again, it's going to be in the show notes right below if you guys want to subscribe. So, Tim, that was the first video that we got. Okay.
Now, another one?
We got another one.
Right.
So the next one is from Joe, and we're going to throw this up here real quick. And Tim, this is installing a ColorDMD LED display in a Jurassic Park pinball machine. This is submitted by Joe. We're going to call this the pinball repair section of Arcade Repair Tips, and the skill level intermediate, Tim. And mainly that's because it's pretty plug and play.
Okay.
Okay, there's not a whole lot of actual like soldering or anything like that that you really need to do. It's pretty plug and play. Tim, for those people who may not be familiar with ColorDMD, can you give us a little bit of information about them?
Yeah, basically, you know, the old school DMD is just one color. It'd be
Right.
like an orange or a yellow or green.
And the DMDs are the displays that are in the pinball machine.
That's what you see in the back that's telling you your score and may have some animation and stuff on it.
Right.
But these are color DMDs. They have a lot more colors, and the animation just comes more alive because of you got all the different colors.
Exactly. So DMDs have become very popular, Tim. And
Yes.
they, they make one for Monopoly. I have a Monopoly pinball machine. They make one for a lot of different pinball machines, and they're very cool, especially if you're looking to upgrade, kind of give your old pinball machine a new experience or a new look. It's really neat for that. And Tim, I'm going to throw this back up here real quick. But this is Joe. His YouTube channel is Brewers Arcade, just all one word there, and youtube.com/user/Brewers Arcade. Tim, he's actually got like a nice short link there.
It's more than just pinball repair.
Right,
so
he does some arcade repair and
of,
some other things like that. This was the video he sent us,
right?
And so this is the one that we're going to show.
It's a good video, but he does a lot more than that. So if you're thinking, well, I don't have a pinball game, you still should check out Joe's site.
Right, exactly. And so again, we'll put all of the links to all the YouTube channels and videos in the show notes, Tim, for this. But let's go ahead and show Joe's video here on installing a ColorDMD in a Jurassic Park pinball machine.
Hey guys, just want to make a quick video of what your ColorDMD should look like for Jurassic Park, and to make sure you have all your ribbon cables correctly facing the right way. So this is the ColorDMD, and right here I had messed up, so make sure that your display ribbon cable is facing this way on your board. This one faces the opposite because I wasn't getting any signal when I had facing the other way, so I'm glad I figured that out. So there you go for that one. There's your power, CN2, and this is what it should look like up in the power supply. So this is the power tap that comes with it. So pull out your original connector, pop in the new one. You have to push it hard, I'll tell you that now, and then pop in the original connector back into the power tap that's now connected to your power supply. And then the included cable that comes for your power comes down to here on the ColorDMD board. And your original display power, just kind of wrap it off with some electrical tape. And then you're good to go. And my color run on Friday. I'll be posting this video once it's complete, but that's what it looks like when you do it. You gotta set it for White Star, I think. There it is. So can't wait for the color file to come out. And I'm sure all you guys know how to do that, but just plugs right into that little USB. You download the file, grab your thumb drive, pop it in, should be good to go. And then you can cleanly kind of wrap your power cable around, and that's about it.
Welcome to Jurassic Park. Up around.
Alright guys, so that is it for Jurassic Park's ColorDMD that was just released by ColorDMD.com. The ROMs just came out today, August 4th. Make sure you pick up a copy and check out ColorDMD.com. Well worth the investment. The display is absolutely beautiful. I'm sure the video does not do it justice. So be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and let me know if you pick one up. And I know my gameplay is not the best, but maybe I'll record some more videos in the future. But just wanted to give you kind of an idea of how it looks in gameplay, alright? Thank you guys very much for checking it out. Take care.
Okay, Tim, so that was Joe's video
Yeah.
on installing a ColorDMD LED display in a Jurassic Park pinball machine. What'd you think?
Yeah, it's pretty neat. Good job, Joe. Thank you for that. And, you know, just like you said, if you got that game and you got an older game that has the plasma display in it and you're thinking, man, I want to change it, I think this would be a great upgrade. It really does make a lot of difference.
Absolutely. ColorDMD.com, guys, if you guys are interested. But let me throw Joe's information back up here, Tim. Again, that's Brewers Arcade is the channel's name. And you can get that youtube.com/user/Brewers Arcade. So if you guys are interested in that, check out Joe's videos. A lot of other stuff, Tim, like you mentioned, besides pinball machines, some arcade game stuff there as well. So you can get a lot of information there just by going to Brewers Arcade on YouTube. So there you go. Okay, Tim, I think we have one more here to view, and that's going to be from Matt.
Okay.
Okay, so let me put the information up here. Repairing a coin pusher motor on a Wheel of Fortune coin pusher.
Awesome.
Okay, and this is submitted by Matt. And Tim, I put this under our miscellaneous section. We really don't have anything for like redemption pieces.
Right.
We
That's
should
good,
probably
though.
have a redemption category. And Tim, I put the skill level on this as intermediate. Okay, like it's not like that difficult, but you need to have a basic knowledge of arcade repair in order to do it, right? And Tim, his channel is MattyMo's Arcade. And Tim, we have the link there. He does not have a short link, but we will have this in the notes for the show here so you guys can subscribe to him. Tim, you've worked on a lot of coin pushers in your time. I'm sure you've seen a lot of different things with them, right?
Oh, gosh, lots of stuff.
There you go. So let's see what's wrong with this particular Wheel of Fortune one here, Tim, with Matt's video. Again, repairing a coin pusher motor on a Wheel of Fortune coin pusher.
Working on a Wheel of Fortune coin pusher today. The motor crapped out and the playfield shelf quit moving, so I'm going to show you how to fix this. Okay, so there's 4 bolts to get this access panel off. Started already.
It's Monopoly time!
Of course. Every track note's going to go off as I'm trying to film. What we're looking at here. Okay. So here is the motor here. And what actually is the problem, it's not a bad motor. It's actually the bearings on the top, which is, the bearings are $23, I think, and the new motor is almost $300. So hopefully it's just the bearing, and then we'll get her back on the road. I really hate track sounds when I'm trying to film. Keep moving the camera. So a buddy of mine would work with at the other arcade, he's a tech also, he said that these bearings dry out with heat and age, and it will prevent the whole entire motor from moving. These things are long. So just pop this guy off. There we go. So that's all that is. And I got the new one here. Basically, the only difference is it looks kind of rusted. Pop that sucker back on there. Pretty simple repair as long as that's all it is. power back up into it. It's the interlock switch. It's for safety, so it doesn't smash your fingers while you're working. Alright, so it sounds like, it looks like it's working. And bingo. So if you want to save yourself a little bit of money like I did, then I recommend doing that. 23 bucks compared to 300. And it's this part right here that you're looking for. And use it as the smallest security bit that I have. The smallest one I got. That should get you going. Thanks for watching.
Okay, Tim. Well, that was Matt's video on repairing a coin pusher motor. Now, Tim, I don't know. What did exactly he do? You probably know better than I would. What exactly did Matt do in that video?
Well, it looks like he replaced the gearbox thing that's on the top.
Okay.
And yeah,
so it wasn't the motor itself.
Well, the motor was working, but the thing he replaced on the top that the motor goes into.
Right.
So that's what it looked like just from watching it quickly right there. But anyway, that was I like the way he shot it. It was really good. It was good cameras and stuff, and you did a good job, Matt. So I'm looking forward to looking at more of his videos.
Right, let's go ahead and throw up his information here again, Tim. Again, so this may be repairing a coin pusher motor. Maybe a different title would be better, like repairing. Repairing.
Well, he still repaired the motor because it's part of the motor.
Gotcha. Okay.
And
so it's just, right, or replacing
and
the
it's
gearbox
a whole lot. And what he did, I should mention, is a whole lot cheaper than replacing that whole thing.
Okay, right, exactly.
Which is what a lot of people would do, just replace the whole part.
Right,
and that can be really expensive. I want to say it's over $300 on that,
gotcha.
And probably what he did was about a $50 or $60 repair.
That's a lot of saved expense, right? Exactly. For somebody who's always watching budget, this man right here.
Oh yeah,
exactly.
You got that right.
That's right. Always under budget, right?
Right.
Always under budget. So there you go. But let's throw up Matt's information here. Again, guys, his YouTube channel is MattyMo's Arcade, and you can get it at the YouTube link right there. And Tim, I found it very interesting as well. And hey, if you have a coin pusher having some issues with, maybe just replace the little gearbox or whatever you want to call it on top, Tim, instead of replacing the entire motor mechanism, right?
Oh yeah, and a lot of our guys have, we deal with arcade games, but a lot of our guys work in arcades. If you work in an arcade today, you're going to work on a pusher.
Oh, yeah.
more than likely. You're going to.
How many coin pushers does like Dave and Buster's have? Oh my goodness, they got like a million different variations on coin pusher.
Yeah, we probably have 6 ourselves. So
wow, you see, so coin pushers have definitely become a staple in the redemption type games nowadays.
Good money makers.
No, really? Oh yeah, hey, I like to play them.
Yeah,
man, coin pushers are awesome. Now, here's the thing: we should say here where we live, Tim, they're technically illegal to do the cash ones, right? Right. They would every so often they'll put them out for a while, and then the city will confiscate them all. They'll put them out again, the city will confiscate them all.
Yeah, you'll see them pop up at the gas station every once in a while with a $20 bill. It's right on the edge.
That's right, exactly. Always right on the edge, but you can't get it. Of course, Tim, it takes a lot to push the $20 over. Right. I mean, that's the thing you have to realize. But there are tricks to coin pushers, Tim. Maybe we should do a video on tricks to beating the coin pusher.
Or if you want to save your time, you can send me $30 and I'll send you 20.
There you go.
or send me 100, I'll send you 20 all day long.
There you go. Sounds good.
Just save your time and send it to me.
I still like to play coin pushers, Tim, even though I know they're rigged. So it's like crane games. I still like to play crane games. I know they're rigged. They're still fun.
But thanks for that video, Matt. That was really good.
Absolutely. And again, guys, if you guys want to subscribe to MattyMo's Arcade on YouTube, check out his YouTube link right below in the show notes. And so, well, Tim, I think that's all I've got for the live show. Oh, I do have one other thing, Tim. I might have to get you to pose here. Can we get you to pose? There we go. Here we go. We want your arcade-related videos. Okay, if you want some free advertising for your YouTube channel, I mean, who wouldn't, Tim?
Sure.
Okay, we're looking for people to submit short videos, 10 minutes or less. Tim, most of the ones that we got today were about 5 minutes, okay? And so 5 minutes is kind of the sweet spot, but if it goes a little over, we're not going to penalize you if the content is good, right? I mean, that's what we're looking for. Okay, so 10 minutes or less about arcade-related topics. Does not have to be repair. Okay, let's say that again. Does not have to be repair. It just has to be an arcade-related topic. So, Tim, if you want to talk about your top 10 arcade games of all time, or if you want to show us maybe you built an arcade game and you want to show us that.
Whatever your YouTube channel is about, mostly.
Right.
It's what we'd like to highlight.
Exactly. So if you're talking about arcade games on your YouTube channel,
it might be
whatever,
restoration, or maybe painting, or
it may just be playing arcade games.
Yeah.
I mean, we're looking for arcade-related, though. That's the key. Arcade-related topics, Tim. Send a link of your video to questions@arcaderepairtips.com, and our staff will review it, just like we reviewed these, right, Tim? And if we like it, we'll use it during one of our live show episodes. Make sure to put a plug-in for your channel. Now, Tim, this is for people who are going to be making a video. Put a plug-in for your channel in the video.
All right.
Say, make sure you subscribe to my channel at youtube.com/mynamehere. Okay,
right.
I mean, that way you can get your word out there. And Tim, this is what I would encourage all creators to do. If you are making videos for your channel, say something at the end about subscribing.
Right.
You know, get people to subscribe. If you like what you saw here, subscribe.
And if you're watching us, more than likely you're subscribed to our channel.
Exactly.
So why not subscribe to these guys and give them a leg up and help on reaching
exactly,
their
because
threshold.
all this content is related, right, Tim? It's all
Exactly.
repaired today. It's the same kind of stuff that you get here. It's just packaged maybe a little bit differently, by different people. There's nothing wrong with that. Tim, we've always been under the impression that the more arcade repair videos that are out there, the better.
Right.
Okay? The more content that's out there, the better. It doesn't matter if it's our content or somebody else's content. So if you guys enjoy arcade repair, you should be subscribing to these channels that we mentioned today, right?
Exactly.
So there you go. So let's put this back up again one more time. So we look forward to seeing your submissions, Tim. 10 minutes or less, questions@arcaderepairtips.com with your videos. And we will feature them here during the live show at some point. 1 or 2 maybe per episode. Okay, today we did 3, Tim, because we kind of wanted to highlight the changes that YouTube made. So we did 3 of them today. But in the future, we'll probably only do 2 or so, just to give you guys an idea. But we really want you guys to get your videos to us so we can grow your audience as well, because like we mentioned, we want more creators out there. We want more of you guys to also qualify for the partner program for YouTube, and hopefully the 3 guys that we have here today, Joe and Paul and Matt, Tim, hopefully this will help out their channels and get it so they can be a part of that partner program going forward as well. So, well, Tim, I think that about wraps it up. So let me go ahead and give the contact information out. Now, Tim, we've already talked about it, but if you want to send us questions@arcaderepairtips.com. Put live show in the subject to get it mentioned on the live show. Again, Tim, that's questions@arcaderepairtips.com. And send your video submissions there as well. Tim, we have our YouTube page at youtube.com/arcaderepairtips.com. youtube.arcaderepairtips.com. Or, Tim, you can go to Varcade Games on YouTube. That is also our YouTube channel page. Comments from the last live show will be covered on the next episode. And, Tim, I'm hoping next time we can do a live show instead of a not-so-live show. But you know how it works out. Again, guys, send us your comments right here. Put them in this live show thread, and we'll be happy to address them at the next live show. Again, youtube.arcaderepairtips.com. And Tim, we have our podcast, a podcast at arcaderepairtips.com. That goes to Eric and Rusty, who are the new host of the Question and Answer podcast. Tim, they just released a new episode. You guys should highly check it out. It's great stuff. And you guys can subscribe to those episodes on our iTunes page at itunes.arcaderepairtips.com or stitcher.arcaderepairtips.com. Either one of those places, subscribe to Eric and Rusty. They will appreciate it, and we will too. And Tim, we have our social media pages. One of them is at facebook.arcaderepairtips.com, facebook.arcaderepairtips.com. That's for our Facebook page, Tim. And we want to, again, shout out to Louie and Mark for all of the hard work that they put into that. And Tim, you and me post there sometimes as well. And you mentioned it in the show today that you could get you a great deal on a GBS 8200 video converter if you would have visited our Facebook page at facebook.arcaderepairtips.com, right? You can get one for $20. Hopefully that sale's still going on. Hopefully you didn't miss it. And Tim, if you're not on Facebook, but you still want all of the goodness from our Facebook page, you can subscribe to our Twitter feed at twitter.arcaderepairtips.com. And Tim, you can also send your questions there, which I think are now 280 character, I believe now. So you guys can send your questions there as well on Twitter to us. And that's Arcade Repair on Twitter. Just Arcade Repair or twitter.arcaderepairtips.com if you guys want to send in your questions there. So Tim, I think we've had a great show today on our Not So Live show. You think we have?
I think so.
Good. Is there anything else that you would like to talk about before we sign off here?
No, thanks everybody for watching. Even though it wasn't live, we do appreciate your continued support. And just like I said, I would really like to see you guys subscribe. If you're not a subscriber to our channel, of course, but also to subscribe to those who sent video content in today.
Absolutely, guys. Again, all this stuff is arcade repair related, and we know you like arcade repair, Tim, because you're watching us. So there you go. We want to thank everybody for watching us. Tim, we will have an after show.
Okay.
Okay, so we will talk about some topics in the after show. I think we teased something about football.
Yes.
So something about football will be in the after show.
Some kind of big game.
Right, some kind of big game coming up. I'm not sure what it is. Something about bowls.
Okay.
Okay, but there you go. So we'll be talking about that in the after show, so you guys can stay tuned after that. And Tim, we want to thank everybody, too, for tuning in for this Not So Live show. And again, guys, I know we didn't have a live chat, but feel free to leave any comments below in the comments section, and we will look at them. And I'm sorry we couldn't do the live show this month, but we're glad that you could join us for the Not So Live show for sure. So, guys, stay tuned for the after show. Otherwise, or you can drop off here, and we'll see you next month in some form or fashion. So hope to see you guys all in the after show, and goodbye.
Thank you for watching this episode of the Arcade Repair Tips live show. All of our past episodes are available on our website at arcaderepairtips.com or on our YouTube page. This show is intended for entertainment and educational purposes only. Please consult a professional before attempting to repair any coin-operated machines yourself. The preceding program is a Varcade Entertainment production.
Okay, we're back for the after show. Now, Tim, people may wonder, how do we know how long it takes us to start the after show? Well, it's basically the length of time it takes for me and Tim to go to the bathroom, and then for us to both answer our text messages on our phone. So then that's it. And then we're back with the after show. So that's the exact length of it. So it just depends on how long it's taking. Now, Tim, before we get into what we tease, maybe we should talk about, there was, you know, you mentioned Chuck E. Cheese has been really busy. Well, I went by Chuck E. Cheese one day, and it was completely empty.
Yeah.
And that was on January 16th because it iced and snowed here.
Right.
Okay, it never ices and snows in Texas.
Yes.
Not in this part of Texas.
Not every
in the
5
Panhandle,
years.
Right,
maybe.
in the Panhandle it does, but not down here. And we got ice and snow so bad the school was closed for 2 days.
Yes.
And so even Chuck E. Cheese was closed.
Right.
That's how bad
for
it
a whole
was.
day.
Exactly, for a whole day. I went by. Now, Tim, I was stupid enough to be driving out. I went to work. I was out there. But, Tim, you know, I go to up north all the time and drive and stuff.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's not a big deal to me. But the thing is, Tim, people around here don't know how to drive on ice and snow.
No, they don't.
And we don't have enough salt trucks and sand trucks to sand everything. And so if you don't know how to drive, basically you're driving on a sheet of ice.
Right.
And it was very dangerous. We had a lot of 18-wheelers. Tim gets stuck.
It
There's
was
a
crazy.
very viral video that occurred where, you know, like an 18-wheeler just about 30 minutes away in a different town started going up a big hill.
Right.
Tires started spinning out, went backwards right into an intersection and knocked out a traffic light.
Right.
So if you haven't seen that video, it's viral. It's all over. But there's been some crazy stuff. So, Tim, how did you spend your snow days? Now, we should say the Monday before that was Martin Luther King Jr. Day.
Right.
And so a lot of the schools were out. They got like a 5-day weekend,
Yeah.
basically. Now,
So-
I had to work on Monday. I worked all that week. But, Tim, you worked that Monday as well?
Yeah, I had been sick, so I'd taken Monday off, and then Tuesday was when it iced. And I felt better, but I didn't want to really do much, so I was inside. The kids got outside. We blew up an inner tube, and Lennon has taken his scooter, a hoverboard, and he has an attachment on that makes a scooter you can sit on. So he was pulling on the hoverboard with the inner tube down the street and sliding all over the place. We got some good videos of that, but of course everybody. When you get a snow day here, it's a really big deal.
Absolutely.
People that from up north or from wherever, they think it's kind of funny. We see a snowflake, we freak out. All the grocery stores are empty. But it's actually nice to have that extra day off, that snow day, and so it was kind of fun.
Yeah, I got off early on Tuesday, even though I went in and everything. So, I mean, it wasn't bad. But, I mean, the roads were terrible. I couldn't imagine teenagers being on them. Like I said, up north, you guys have sand and salt trucks, like, running all the time. And so, like, you get on the roads and 4 feet of snow, and they're fine, you know. But here, we don't have that kind of infrastructure.
And snow's a lot different than ice.
Exactly,
too,
yeah.
so
we get a lot more ice than we get snow.
Thick layer of ice with snow on top of it.
Exactly, and that's what happened on
slippery.
Tuesday. Right, exactly. It was really bad. So, but yes, January 16th and 17th, we had kind of snow days around here, which was kind of nice. And so the schools had a 5-day weekend, like I said, which was really nice. So, now, Tim, there's a big game coming up.
I've heard that.
In the NFL, between two teams that, as Cowboy fans, I'm not fond of. Either one.
I'm trying to figure a way if it's possible they could both lose.
Yeah, that's right. Is there a way?
Happy,
Is there a way? But the two teams, of course, Tim, are the Patriots, who most of us who aren't Patriots fans don't want to see them win another one, and then the Eagles, who are our sworn enemies as Cowboy fans. And so,
who do you vote? Who do you root for?
I tell you who I vote for: Philadelphia.
I'm
the lesser of two evils.
Yeah, I'm on the Philadelphia bandwagon. A lot of people don't know.
New England fans.
I went to college.
You guys have enough of them, though.
Yeah,
that's what I'm going to say.
Yeah,
you have
plenty
enough.
of fans.
You got plenty.
Well, Super Bowls.
Plenty of Super Bowls. Plenty of Super Bowls. Plenty of Super Bowls.
Right, share the love a little bit.
That's right, exactly.
So I went to college at University of Louisiana at Monroe. At the time was Northeast Louisiana University. The quarterback of our football team, you know who the quarterback was of our football team when I went there?
Who?
He was actually really good. His name was Doug Peterson.
Oh, yes.
And he is the coach of the Philadelphia Eagles. Not spelled different than my name. Spells it Pederson.
Peterson.
Right. And so I guess I'm going to root for the Eagles because I like Doug. He was a nice guy. I met him a couple times and just seemed like and he seems like a good coach. Mm-hmm. I do think he does a good job. Not a big Belichick fan, so again, sorry.
Now, Belichick is a genius.
Yeah.
I mean, he is a genius.
Yeah, win at all costs.
That's right. Genius.
But yeah, there's a reason why they've been to the Super Bowl. It's not just Tom Brady.
Exactly.
And how they can lose people every year and still be back.
It's all about the system.
So I guess I'll probably pull for the Eagles also. Although I don't really care if they get blown out by 40 points. It won't hurt my feelings. I won't lose any sleep. I may even laugh a little.
It's totally different. It's totally different when you got a dog in the hunt. And when you don't have a dog in the hunt, right?
Now, if Jacksonville would have won, I think I would. Anybody but them two teams, I think I would have been for. I was kind of rooting for the Saints,
right? Oh yeah,
or Minnesota, and just didn't.
Minnesota would have been such a good story with it being in Minnesota.
Oh yeah, it would have been great.
Yeah, but so no offense to the Patriots fans out there, but we're rooting for Philadelphia in the big game.
And I keep seeing about these people like 99 and 100 getting free tickets. I'm thinking, man, all I've got is like 50 more years and I can get a free ticket to the Super Bowl.
Now, Tim, I've been to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, you have.
When it was here in Dallas, I got to go. And so it was, you know what? It was okay. Experiencing the game was way better at home. Okay. And I'll tell you why, because there's 1 million people everywhere. There's 1 million security gates everywhere.
Right.
Okay. And so getting anywhere is a chore and a half.
Yeah.
And then there's a million people everywhere. So even looking at the game, like everybody's looking down, like at this little itty bitty space, on the field. And so like you've got heads in front of you. It doesn't matter where you sit. Even in this new stadium, there's so many people they packed in there to have the Super Bowl that, it was just crazy. So, yeah, so it was, as far as the viewing experience, way better viewing experience at home. Okay, so if you're watching it at home, you have a way better experience.
And you'll get to see all the commercials.
Exactly. That is the nice thing about being there. You don't get to see the commercials, but you don't get to see the commercials, right? Exactly.
Yeah,
so
they may be better than the game this year, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. So it was a unique experience. I went when it was Steelers and Green Bay. Is when I, because it was here in Dallas,
right?
And
because we thought the Cowboys were going to get to play a home game, and it didn't happen.
Yeah.
Well, earlier in the year.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we
Skip
always...
Bayless said that we were going to be Skip
Bayless.
Skip
Bayless always says that.
Yeah, right. So anyway. Every year.
So yes, I am pulling for the Eagles. No offense to Patriots fans. If you guys win, good for y'all. How about that? So there
May the best team win.
That's right. May the best team win. Now, go ahead, Tim.
Well, speaking of NFL,
I was going to say, you're going to, look at you transitioning here. So there was another football announced, Tim, another football league announced this week that, to be honest with you, I'm kind of excited about because I was excited when they first announced, and that's the XFL.
Right.
Okay, now here's the deal about the XFL, okay? The execution was terrible, but I thought the idea was genius.
Yeah, it was kind of like a cross between Monday Night Raw and football.
Exactly. Now, I didn't like that part of it. Yeah. I think the key to it was... I like the way that they put you more in the game. And if you notice now, have you guys seen the documentary We Were the XFL? Or We Were the XFL?
I haven't seen it.
It's a 30 for 30. And it tells about the history of the XFL and what went on. But a lot of the camera techniques, the NFL has now stolen, like putting you inside the game.
Right.
That's the one thing I thought the XFL did well, was putting the audience, basically, in the game. And so
they mic'd up everybody.
Exactly. And you see, that was way before the NFL was ever doing that. And so, yeah, they mic'd up everybody, heard everything in the huddles and everything like that. You had cameramen on the field.
Right.
Which was awesome. And, so there were all of these different techniques, Tim, that I think were great. The actual, ratcheting up, the raunch and violence and stuff like that, I did not like that part of it. But I thought the idea was interesting. And it sounds like, Tim, this is going to be a toned-down version of that, which I'm actually in favor of.
Okay.
Because let's face it, I haven't been watching as many NFL games this year as I have in past years.
No.
And I'm not as excited about it as I used to.
Yeah, me either. Not the Super Bowl this year. It may be the teams. It may just be...
I haven't watched as much football as I usually do.
Yeah, so... Is it kind of... I haven't seen everything, so is it kind of like the old XFL rules too? No fair catches?
No.
And...
The rules are gone.
Okay.
Family friendly.
Okay,
is now Vince said that, family friendly.
Okay.
Focused on basically what you call it, simplifying the game of football.
Okay.
Simplifying. Okay. So, and fan focused. Fan focused is the idea. And so they're going to start out with just a certain number of teams. They're all going to be owned by the XFL. Okay, and it's going to be 2 years, so we're not going to see it till 2020.
Okay.
And before, they kind of rushed it, I felt like. They rushed they announced it, and then they went into it, and they didn't secure all the rights and everything, teams. But I think the XFL is a good thing. I would like to see more parity between teams. I feel like there's a lot of discrepancy between the New York Patriots and everybody else, especially right now. And maybe that's just because of Belgium in the system, whatever the case may be. But I'd like to see more exciting games. I mean, that's really what we want. And here's the thing I thought, Tim, too. What if the XFL was an option for kids out of high school? So instead of going to a college, getting a free ride, XFL says, we'll pay you a 4-year contract. We'll pay you.
Right.
Okay, and afterwards, you'd be just where you'd be if you played in college.
Right.
But you'll have money.
Right.
So instead of...
Yeah, so if you're not...
Let's say you're not
honestly,
school.
you're not the best grades, or you need the money.
Right, exactly.
It's kind of like a semi-pro and a more than a pro.
Right, exactly. Well, you can still have a lot of, NFL veterans there who maybe are past what their NFL years would be, but still want to play.
Or just those guys that have been on a team for 3 or 4 years but never have made it off the practice squad.
Exactly. It's now you're going to get a chance to play. Okay, so you sign those guys, and then you sign guys straight out of high school and say, look, you could go to college, get a college degree. Nothing wrong with that, okay? But if you're not, let's say you're not a scholar.
Right.
You're not a great student. We're going to give you $500,000 a year.
Yeah.
Okay, which, compared to an NFL contract is the minimum.
That's more than I made last year.
Right, but to a high school student, That's a lot of money, right?
Right.
And so you say, we'll give you even $200,000 a year. Okay, you'll make, or let's say $3,000 a year. You're going to make $1.2 million in 4 years.
Well,
okay, and then you can go to the NFL if you want.
If you're good.
Yeah, and if you're good, you show your stuff. I mean, it'd be just no different than getting a college kid at that point. Same age. So to me, I think their strength would be kind of being like an in-between feeder type league for the NFL. Kind of being another option for college kids, saying, look, you don't have to go to college.
Right.
Okay, we'll take you in, and you can show your stuff in our league.
Interesting.
So, I mean, that's my idea. I don't know if that's how it's going to be. But I'm excited for the possibility of an XFL return.
Okay,
so
I
will say that. So there we go. Okay, Tim. So, football aside.
Will they stand for the anthem, though?
Yes.
He
said that for sure. He's like, there's a rule book. If they don't follow the rules, they're out.
Okay.
And the rules say stand for the anthem?
Because I think that really did, you hear both sides. I really do think it made an impact on a lot of people. Sales. Yeah.
And you see, I mean, Tim, I know a lot of veterans that they definitely stopped watching because of that.
My father-in-law will not watch. He won't watch Super Bowl. Haven't watched a game in like all year.
Now, me personally, I mean, I'm not happy with it, but it doesn't stop me from watching.
And the Cowboys always stood up, so it was my team. So I was like, well, I'm going to support the teams that do stand. Now, if half my team sit down, I might feel differently.
Right.
But that's just my personal opinion. But at the same time, I understand what the point was trying to get across.
Yeah, exactly. We understand the point.
Yeah, understand the point.
Which is why I didn't stop watching. It's like we understand what you're trying to get across.
People felt like they had to do something drastic to get their message out there.
Right, exactly.
And so I get that. So, like you said, it didn't really affect my watching much. Except for just the fact that we didn't have a great season and it was kind of boring. And
like I said, I think that's what it came down to. Is like the games just seemed boring. And that's why I didn't watch as much
and you've
football.
got so many rules, like on catching a football. Like, Dad's caught the ball.
Right,
it's
exactly.
like, come on. If you're sitting there at the living room and you say that guy caught the... You break it down so much. I can tell you in a second whether it was a fumble or a catch or whatever. If you got to dissect every frame and the ball rotate, all this, you really just drag it, and then it starts getting boring to me.
And you see, and that's why I think he talked about simplifying the rules.
I think so.
And I think they need to be simplified. I mean, they do. I think the NFL has gotten, like you said, too hung up on getting complicated with things.
Right.
And that's part of it, because then they spend 20 minutes trying to figure out if a guy caught the ball.
Exactly.
Or whatever it is, and it's ridiculous. So anyway, I like being accurate as much as the next guy, but there gets to a point, like you say, where you may be too accurate with it. It's like you're spending too much time on being accurate.
We'll definitely be watching.
Right,
so
exactly.
Dallas will probably have a team, I'm sure.
Probably. I wouldn't be surprised. Texas will have a team.
Some sort.
Right. And we had one before, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
It's been a while. Watch We Were the XFL, I think is what it was, or something like that.
Maybe I'll watch it and get primed up and ready for it.
And then also watch the announcement that Vince had of it. I thought.
I haven't. I just heard the announcement. I haven't really listened to any details of it.
So there you go. Okay, Tim. Let's move on here. Movies and TV shows.
Okay.
What have you been watching? So, let me tell the story. So Tim, I asked Tim what he's been watching, TV shows, movies. He says Pawn Stars and game shows. I'm like, Tim aged like 50 years all of a sudden. I didn't realize that.
That's what I've been watching.
So what game shows have you been watching? I'm curious.
I liked, we have Sling TV, and every night they play reruns of Family Feud.
Oh, GSN. We're watching GSN.
Yeah, GSN. Yes. So I'm watching Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, and I forget how much I really like this show.
Oh, it's a great show.
I really like that show, and I'm thinking, and one of my things is I've always wanted to be on a game show. Just anything. I think that would be cool. Remember, we met a guy from Tyler one time that had been on a couple game shows.
Yeah, but Deal or No Deal was where he made his big score.
He did, and he did good at it. So
and he opened a restaurant.
I think that would be cool to be on a game show. So I've been trying to hone in my skills and stuff, and I've realized that really I think, for the most part, it's like I have that deductive reasoning, and that's what it takes. I like the multiple choice part of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Sure. And
Jeopardy is hard.
Yeah.
And you see, I watch Jeopardy
I couldn't do Jeopardy.
I watch Jeopardy all the time. I love Jeopardy. Okay, and it's hard.
Yeah.
Okay, and here's the thing. You want to know how much
really
you don't know?
Smart.
You want to know how much?
Yeah,
like, you think you're the smartest guy in the room?
Yeah.
Watch Jeopardy.
Right.
I promise, man. There's categories, Tim, I got no clue on. And then there's categories I totally own. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, that's the nice thing about Jeopardy, though. It's all category-based.
They don't have very many arcade game-related categories,
though.
but
They
every
do
once in a while they do.
They do.
And they never know anything.
Right. No, they don't. Pop culture for a lot of Jeopardy contestants is pretty rough. Right? Yeah. Usually. I mean, that's one. But, geography, literature, which are two categories I'm terrible at, they own those. So, it just shows you what they're kind of focusing on.
So, kind of going hand in hand with not only liking game shows is I really like history and studying. That's how a lot of things. There's basically a game show that was asking you a historical question
Right.
for the most part.
Sure.
So I have really got into watching Pawn Stars, and one thing I think it's cool to. I like to guess at how much of a thing would be worth. And then I was watching it, and all of a sudden I saw Steve on there the other day. I was like, "Hey, I know this guy," and they totally dissed his pinball game. That was really upsetting.
I remember them promoting that episode,
Yeah.
Steve from Fun.
And it was
he's our favorite distributor here in Texas,
Yeah.
or here in the DFW surrounding areas.
Right.
I bought my pinball machine from Steve, of course, and he's a great distributor.
So he was on Pawn Stars, and he had a Captain Fantastic pinball, immaculate condition. I'm sitting there looking at it, going, that thing's worth $4,500, $5,000 like that.
Sure.
And that's what he asked for. And they had an expert come in and evaluate it like, I think, $1,200 or something.
Oh, my goodness.
I was like, I want to throw something at the TV. I was like, there's no way that
No.
you're... In fact, the guy, Steve's a lot more expert than this guy,
Oh,
probably.
yeah.
But anyway, of course, they didn't offer him anything, and he kept it. But I don't know what happened to it after that. Maybe we'll find out. But so
Our friend Craig's works for Steve, too.
Yes, he does.
So,
So,
he's
I
a great distributor.
I
here.
just have been enjoying watching those and getting a little trivia. I think that it's good for you to do trivia. Keeps your mind sharp and stuff, and I like trivia. So I was listening. I'll throw in this too. So listen to this. Every morning, the local radio station has a trivia contest, and they always ask a question.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And I was watching something on the Olympics, because we got the Olympics coming up, which
Sure.
I'm very excited
Winter
about.
Olympics.
When was the first Olympic Winter Game? And I remembered that it was in Paris, and it was in conjunction with the Summer Games. Like, they tried to do them both at one time.
Oh, my goodness.
And like a long time ago, like in the 1930s or something. So anyway, I called the radio station. I said, I think I know the answer. And they said, well, where is it? I said, in France. They said, can you be a little more specific? And I said, yeah, it was in Paris. And they're like, can you be more specific? And I was like,
oh, my goodness.
okay, I think it was a suburb of Paris, but I mean, Paris is
Right.
it's like
Pretty
saying
big.
Tyler and Gresham.
Yeah,
You know, it's
exactly,
like,
right.
I don't know Gresham, but it's a suburb of Tyler. It's
Right,
pretty
exactly.
much Tyler.
Sure.
And so anyway, I took a stab at it, and I think I said it was like Osherloom or something. Anyway, they gave it to me. They were
There
like,
you go.
well, you're closer. And nobody else is even guessing France.
Right.
And I've got it down to this part. So anyway, I won a trivia contest the other
There you
day.
go. Now, here's the deal. You may not
Push
know,
me out.
our mutual friend Brandon has been to Las Vegas for quizzing, and he does it at local bars. He's got a quiz team that he's with.
I did not know that.
There you go. And that's what
fine.
maybe you should do that.
I
You
should do that.
He won money. They were one spot off of winning money in Vegas. They qualified for Vegas, and they had like a big contest. So if you go to, there's a couple bars in the area that do,
Well, I've
trivia
been wanting
nights.
to go
You got to get a quiz
I've been
team
wanting
and
to
do a
go-
trivia night. So
Been wanting to go to Vegas.
you have to get
too,
a lot
so-
of people on your team. He says the key is to have a sports trivia guy, somebody
Yeah.
who's really good with that, because he's like, they ask a lot of sports questions.
Presidential questions, a lot about presidents and sports. You know, will definitely help.
Yeah. See, I'm a big Jeopardy fan. I watch it all the time. One of these days, I'm going to get up the nerve to take the test and try to qualify. I'm still way behind on my knowledge.
I did the qualifications for Deal or No Deal. It was like 13 pages.
Oh my goodness.
And I think about the time I finally got it all and got it in was about the time the show began to wane, and just, it's like, I don't know if it's still on now or
No,
not. I don't think so.
it is.
And so
Who
I
Wants
might
to Be a
have been too
Millionaire
late.
is.
It is. And
It's
so,
a little bit different, but it's still there.
Yeah,
I think Michael
it's-
Strahan, I think, now does it. It used to be Meredith Vieira.
No, it's a guy, John.
I don't know.
Anyway.
Yeah, I think they've had a couple people do it now.
Yeah, I
since
like the guy that's
syndication.
doing it now. He's really good.
There you
But
go.
anyway.
So there you go. So let me talk about what I've been
Yeah,
watching
what
now.
are you watching?
Tim, I watched all of Mindhunter on Netflix. Have you seen this?
Mm-mm.
So Mindhunter is a show about. It takes place in like the 80s, and it's about the CIA.
Your wife is calling.
I'll get it.
It's not important.
You
got a baby on the way.
There you go. Hello. Hey, everything okay? Okay. No babies? Okay. That's what I need to know. Thank you. Okay, be careful. Love you. Bye.
We had to get that call.
That's right.
You never know. They could be my water broke and I'm on the way.
That's right, exactly.
Or
so
come
there you
pick
go.
me up. I'm
Not
stuck.
no baby yet.
Okay, no babies. Okay.
Now,
so you've been watching Mindhunter.
So let's talk about Mindhunter.
What's it about?
It's about the FBI in, I think, the 80s, maybe? I can't remember. I think the time period is the 80s. Or maybe before that. I can't remember. 60s? I can't remember at the moment. It's been a while since I watched it. I watched it over Christmas break, so it's been a little bit. But basically, it talks about how these FBI agents determined what a serial killer was. Like, they didn't even have a name for them.
Right.
They were calling them sequence killers and everything. So it's a story about these two agents who kind of come up. They interview serial killers and then come up with certain criteria that, is common to all of these serial killers, so they can start to identify them.
Interesting.
And so at the end of season 1, they've already said there's a season 2. They kind of get a big head about it, and I don't want to spoil anything, so you guys can watch it. But it was very interesting, very disturbing. Okay, a lot of weird pictures because serial killers.
Yeah.
But I could not stop watching it.
Oh.
Like, I binged it right through.
Wow.
So,
okay.
And then so TV show wise, Mindhunter, Netflix. I think you should watch it, but keep in mind it's disturbing.
Okay.
So I mean, you're going to see some crazy bad stuff because these are bad people. Okay, serial killers.
Like Criminal Minds.
Exactly.
Okay.
So maybe a little bit worse than that. It is Netflix. So, but anyway. But I also saw movie wise. I saw The Greatest Showman. Have you seen this?
No.
Fantastic.
Wow, you
already
liked it.
Pre-ordered the record and the DVD.
Wow.
Blu-ray. Excuse me.
Okay.
I mean, like on top of it. Do you know what it's about?
Yeah, I know it's a musical. And
it's a musical, but the music is fantastic. It's it's the story of P.T. Barnum.
Yes.
Okay, is what it is, and one of my favorite actors of all time, Hugh Jackman, actually plays P.T. Barnum and does a fantastic job. I mean, you got to see it. He sings, and it's amazing. And the music is great.
Okay.
The music is great. So if you haven't seen The Greatest Showman and you like musicals, you should go see it.
Okay.
So it'll bring people back to the movie theater who haven't seen it forever. The other thing I watched, which isn't on the outline here, Tim, is I watched Thor Ragnarok.
Okay.
Okay, which is the new Thor movie.
Really
great.
It?
Very, very funny. It's kind of like Thor mixed with Guardians of the Galaxy. It's like they kind of did a mashup and said, we're going to add a little bit more humor.
I heard it was kind of funny.
And it's very funny. There's a lot of funny parts in it and very entertaining, And my wife, she said it wasn't what she was expecting, but she liked it. And for me, I had seen the preview, so I expected all the funny stuff. I don't think she did. But
get your wife to like a Thor movie. That's not bad.
Well, she liked the first one, really.
Okay.
The first one's still her favorite. I don't blame her. The first one is the best. So, again, though, go see The Greatest Showman. Still in movie theaters.
Okay.
Great. Even if you're not a musical fan, you'll like it.
Okay.
Because Hugh Jackman's awesome. So that's all I got to say. And then, again, Thor Ragnarok is good, and Mindhunter on Netflix. Check
Well,
those
what
out.
video games have you been playing then?
I got Tekken 7 for Christmas, and I finally booted it up. And, I've liked Tekken since the first time I played the first one in the arcade. But, the problem, Tim, everything after, like, Tekken 4 and on just feels like the gameplay's a lot slower.
Huh.
And Tekken 5 was okay. But, like, kind of everything between 4 and 7, even 7 itself, the gameplay is a little bit slower. And so I don't enjoy it as much.
Huh.
Tekken Tag is my favorite by far. Tekken
okay.
Tag 1. So, but it's still fun. Still playing it. I booted up Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. I have Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, but I haven't played it yet. I just need to boot it up. That's the latest one. And then I played Trials Fusion while both those were loading. Because, Tim, now, when you put a game into an Xbox, you can't play it immediately. Did you know that?
True that.
You have to wait. And so, you know what I do? I play a game while I'm waiting. Trials Fusion was the game I played. So, it was my waiting game, but all that great stuff. So
is it like a beta version or something of it? Or is it...
Trials Fusion's been out for a while.
Okay.
It's a motorcycle game. It's kind of like a psych bike.
Oh, okay.
Kind of a more modern version. If you never played, it's really, really great. Here's the thing. There's really only one control.
Oh, that'd be good for me.
Exactly. There's your motorcycle. You have go and brake, and you can rock. You can go over hills, and you can rock up and rock down over them, and that's it.
Okay.
So it's easy, and it's something you can play on your son's Xbox with him, and even you could probably handle. So
okay. Well, I should
anyway, so those are the things I've been playing. Hopefully, I get around to Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite pretty soon. Tim, is there anything else you want to talk about while we're on the after show? You got any soapboxes?
No,
soapboxes?
I don't think I've had nothing lately. Just I know that we've had a lot of flu around here, which is really, really
we're a
bad.
hotbed for flu.
Yeah, so
oh my goodness,
I've still been fighting. I'm sorry for the coughing and stuff, but it seems like upper respiratory, flu, all that's just been going crazy around here. But I think it's the weather.
It is.
It's 70 one day and 30 or 15 the next day.
Yeah, and that's how the weather looks this week as well.
Yeah.
And it's just we've been dealing with it. Hopefully, you stay healthy. So especially with all those kids and all those games.
Yes.
So
Lots
definitely.
of germs
But
around there.
Again, guys, me and my wife, we have baby number 2 on the way. It's a boy, like we mentioned last time, and so we had to pre-record all this so you guys would have an episode. You have an episode. It may not be live, but you have one. So there you go. And Tim, I don't have anything either, so I think we're gonna end it right here. The game room's clean.
Yes.
I worked really hard on it. I mean, they don't see anything in the camera. I think's off over there, but the game room is somewhat clean. It's presentable. I don't like to say clean.
I wondered if you were going to have a party or something coming up.
Not a party, but I figured we're going to have people, like we have a lot of friends who wanted to bring us food.
Oh, yeah.
And you know what I told them? Like, well, if you bring us food,
yeah, I can play some games.
Play in the game room, right? Sure. So, yeah, exactly. So, it's like, bring your kids. You guys can play. So, they'll bring us some food. We'll eat and they'll play.
We look forward to Mr. Alex coming
That's
along.
right, exactly. Yeah, Alex is the name we have picked out. So, we're looking forward to that. Yeah, I don't know. Probably won't see him, here for a while. Olivia likes to get up here sometimes and have her own show. But that we probably won't see Alex on here for a while. But anyway. So, yeah, so that's coming up. And, whenever that happens, I'm sure we'll talk about it on the next live show. Because it's going to happen within the next week.
All right.
Okay, so for sure. But anyway. Well, guys, I think we're going to end it here. Jim, we didn't do the fix the game, play the game at the end of the other one, but we'll do it here.
now.
Thank you guys for watching, and remember here at Arcade Repair Tips, when you fix the game,
you
play the game. Take care, everybody.
Goodbye, everybody.
See you on the next live show.
Yeah, I gotta get going. I think we gotta pick up.